55-year-old Donald Shaver Jr. is behind bars after he tried to kill his pregnant girlfriend with an axe. At 11:28 p.m. on Saturday the 24th of June, authorities responded to a home along Old Cross Road in Bell County, Kentucky on a report of a domestic violence incident. When deputies arrived at the scene, they came in contact with a female victim. She said that Donald placed his hand around her throat, knocking her backward out of a chair, causing the back of her head to hit the ground, and proceeded to strangle her. The woman said she was able to break free from Donald and get to her feet when Donald swung an axe at her stomach while she was 13 weeks pregnant with their child. Deputies found Donald sitting in the back of a pickup truck on the property and detected a strong odour of alcohol coming from his breath. Donald was arrested and charged with assault, strangulation, attempted murder, attempted fetal homicide, and public intoxication. He's out of the Bell County Detention Center. The victim's condition is unknown at this time. 76-year-old Gail DeAnthony is behind bars for fatally beating her 72-year-old husband John DeAnthony early this year. At 7:38 p.m. on the 1st of March, medics responded to a home at 334 Roy Road in Westminster, Maryland on a report of a man in cardiac arrest. When medics arrived at the property, they went inside the premises and attempted life-saving measures on John, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The medical examiner's office determined that John has sustained blunt force trauma all over his body, lacerations to his mouth, a broken neck, rib, 2 black eyes and contusions. His death was ruled a homicide. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit assumed the investigation on the 24th of May and found evidence of blood splatter in the Roy home, consistent with the victim's blunt force trauma injuries. In June, Major Crime Unit detectives became aware that Gail told a witness that she killed John by pushing him to the ground, where he hit his head on the floor. She said that she then left the room and returned with a cane, which she used to bludgeon John on the head, and then used the cane to prevent him from getting up. Gail said she entered and exited the room several times, eventually finding her husband unresponsive before calling 911 for help. Authorities found the witness's statement consistent with the evidence found at the scene. On Wednesday the 21st of June, detectives arrested Gail in Cumberland, Maryland, on charges of first and second degree murder. She remains held without bail at the Allegheny County Jail and will be transported to the Carroll County Detention Center. The motive in the attack is unclear, as the investigation into the matter continues. 56-year-old Ronald Burdett has pleaded guilty this week to killing his wife last year and shooting his 11-year-old daughter in the neck. Ronald entered the plea on Monday the 26th of June to the charges of murder, assault, and wanton endangerment for fatally shooting his wife Cindy Burdett and seriously wounding his daughter. Ronald also shot at his son, but he wasn't hit. The shooting occurred at 4:50 a.m. on the 15th of May 2022, when Ronald shot Cindy inside their home at 2107 Appleton Lane in Shively, Kentucky. The 11-year-old girl and her twin brother called a relative and told them that Ronald shot their mother and was still opening fire inside the house. Ronald fled after the shooting in a 2007 Ford Taurus, but was arrested the following day in Jeffersonville and then extradited back to Jefferson County. Prosecutors have recommended a sentence of 25 years in prison. His sentencing hearing is scheduled for the 17th of August. A 60-year-old woman was arrested for fatally shooting her boyfriend before taking her own life in jail. At around 12:40 p.m. on Thursday the 22nd of June, authorities were called to a residence in the 3000 block of Appaloosa Drive in Lake Havasu City, Arizona on report of a shooting. The caller, later identified as Julia Pete, told dispatch that she had shot a man in her home. When officers arrived at the scene, they found 69-year-old Mark Corbett deceased with multiple gunshot wounds. Julia told detectives that she was dating the man and became fearful of her safety after learning of some alleged criminal history involving the man. Upon further investigation, detectives determined that the man had not threatened Julia, nor had he attempted to harm her at the time of the shooting. Julia was arrested and charged with first-degree homicide, and she was booked into the Mojave County Adult Detention Center. On Friday the 23rd of June, her bond was set at $1 million. At 2:34 p.m. on Sunday the 25th of June, Julia was found unresponsive in a cell, with clothing tied around her neck. Officials said she took her own life. Julia was housed alone at the jail, and no foul play is suspected. The investigation into the matter continues. A Clark couple are behind bars in connection with the death of their 8-month-old infant son, who died of an overdose last year. On the morning of the 15th of November, medics responded to a home in the 1600 block of Broadmoor Circle in Boulder City, Nevada, on report of an unresponsive baby. When first responders arrived at the scene, they attempted life-saving measures before transporting the child to St. Rose Sienna Hospital, where the infant was pronounced dead at 9:31 a.m. The Clark County Coroner's Office determined the child died as a result of fentanyl toxicity, and he had suffered recent meth exposure. Police spoke with the child's parents, 36-year-old Jeffrey Terakami and 31-year-old Cara Dugan, who both said the child had been exposed to meth and fentanyl after Jeffrey spilled a bag mixed with the drugs on their bed. The child then allegedly crawled onto the bed following the spill. On the 16th of June, the couple were booked into the Clark County Detention Center, charged with second-degree murder. Their bond has been set at $20,000 each.